Hello people, in this video let us look at mitral valve prolapse. So MVP. This is also called as floppy valve, etc. Let us look at mitral valve. So where is the mitral valve, guys? Between the left atrium and the left ventricle. So here you have the mitral valve. So now what is mitral valve prolapse? So here you can see there is kind of a ballooning of this mitral valve, right? So this is mitral valve prolapse. So how are they calling this? They are calling this as MVP. So here they are showing you mitral valve prolapse with regurgitation. Some amount of blood is going into the back into the left atrium. So they are showing you mitral valve prolapse with the regurgitation. Anyways, now here we are looking at mitral valve prolapse. So here, what are you seeing here? This is S1. Here you have S2, right? So mitral valve prolapse, they are telling you that there are some clicks here, and then there is a late systolic murmur. So a late systolic murmur will happen in a mitral valve prolapse. Okay, a late systolic murmur happens where in your mitral valve prolapse. Let's understand why. So mitral valve prolapse is also known as Barlow syndrome or floppy valve syndrome, guys. This happens because of the myxomatous degeneration. Remember here, this mitral valve is nothing but a bicuspid valve, isn't it? So you have an anterior leaflet and a posterior leaflet. They're telling you here that the posterior leaflet is most commonly involved. What is happening here? Myxomatous degeneration, right? And it is having prolapse. Prolapse means what? It is kind of going out of its place, isn't it? So what was supposed to be like this is kind of ballooned out. So that is why they are calling it as what? Floppy valve syndrome. So why it happens? Sometimes it's idiopathic. That's what they are saying here. Just say idiopathic and get over with it. But otherwise, they are saying there's a collagen tissue disorder. So the collagen tissue is not fine. Or there can be Marfan syndrome, rheumatic fever. Okay. What else? You know, guys, in rheumatic fever, what is affected most? Your mitral valve, isn't it? So that is why they are telling about mitral valve prolapse here, rheumatic fever. So they're talking about acute and chronic in both. They have blamed the rheumatic fever, both the types they are blaming this. And then cardiomyopathies or enlarged heart. So what is happening? A dilated heart. So the mitral valve is prolapsing. There can be connective tissue disorder. We told you all this. Ehlers-Danlos and osteogenesis imperfecta, right? So basically, all these are causes for this prolapse of this valve to happen. It's kind of a collagen disorder, connective tissue disorder, some weakness, isn't it? This valve has. This mitral valve prolapse, guys, it is seen more in females, 15 to 30 years, they are saying. And what is affected more? Your posterior leaflet, isn't it? And then what else are they saying here? They can be asymptomatic, or they can have palpitations due to tachyarrhythmias. So you don't think that you have panic attack. There could be something wrong with the heart. Okay. So what are they blaming here? Who is affected here? If this is the heart and there is a prolapse of this valve here, who is affected more? Basically here what will happen is there's elongated chorda tendineae. Okay. And so who is affected here mostly will be your ventricle, right? Left ventricle is affected more. So you can see all these chorda tendineae are so stretched and they're all in strain. So mostly they're telling that left ventricle is affected. So these people can have palpitations, chest pain, okay, tachyarrhythmias. They're telling premature ventricular contractions, ventricular tachycardia, PSVT, supraventricular tachycardia, that becomes atrial, isn't it? Okay, finally it is leading to atrial fibrillation also. So basically here they are telling what? There can be chest pain due to ischemia. So remember who is affected here? Mostly the left ventricle initially, isn't it? And what did you see here? When you do heart sounds, when you check, you will see a mid or late systolic click, and you will see that there is, what else did we see? One more thing we saw, clicks may be present due to multiple scalloping of the redundant mitral valve. So here you can see that there are clicks, right? And then you have a late systolic murmur or a mid systolic murmur. So this is during the systole. This is between the S1 and the S2. After the S1, before the S2. So look at how the textbook is showing this. Here you have the prolapse of the mitral leaflets. Okay, that's what they have shown here. And when you see the heart sounds, they are saying S1 is here and S2 is here. S2 they have represented as A2P2. And here as a late systolic murmur, they are showing you a crescendo decrescendo. There are clicks and then there is this murmur which is late systolic murmur. Can you see they have written here late systolic murmur? So you'll have to draw this to explain. Okay. So basically this click, why are they saying there is click? Because of this elongated chorda tendineae. Okay. And why is there a murmur? a high-pitched late systolic crescendo decrescendo murmur. They're saying it's a high-pitched late systolic murmur. Okay, whooping or honking. Let's hear this. Hope you got that, people. Guys, in this mitral valve prolapse, right, there is one special thing. Standing and sitting makes a difference, okay? So, just remember, when you stand, the murmur will be longer. So, if you are standing in mitral valve prolapse, the murmur will be longer, okay? This is the best way to remember. Otherwise, you'll have to put a lot of logic to understand this. So, standing, what will happen? The click in the murmur will happen earlier. Okay, so if this is S1 and this is S2, when you're standing, what will happen? If you're standing, the click will be earlier and the murmur will be earlier when you stand. Okay, this much if you say. And when you're squatting, what will happen? When you're squatting, the venous return will increase. So there is increased left ventricular end diastolic volume. So the click and the murmur will happen later. Okay, when you squat. Okay, this is when you squat, the click and the murmur will happen later. So here we have updated this diagram. So there is a click and there is a murmur, late systolic murmur. When you stand, there will be early click and long murmur. Okay. So these people will have what complications? They will have, because of this mitral valve, lot of pieces or something, there's emboli from the mitral valve, and it can cause transient cerebral ischemic attacks. It's affecting the brain now. Transient cerebral ischemic attacks, and this mitral valve is so prone to all these infective endocarditis. So obviously, if your mitral valve is weak, what will happen? Infective endocarditis, right? So basically, okay, that is what is the complication. Then ECG, what will you see in this ECG? You will see inverted T waves, biphasic or inverted T waves, supraventricular or ventricular extrasystole. Okay. Let's move on to the echo, guys. So in echo, basically they are saying that you can diagnose only if the displacement of the mitral leaflets in systole will be greater than 2 mm, then only they can diagnose. Okay. When the systolic displacement of the mitral leaflets is greater than 2 mm into the left atrium, then only you will be able to diagnose, looks like. Some extra words are there here. Anyways, now let's look at the echo. So in echo, what are you seeing here? Here's your left atrium and here's your left ventricle. So the mitral valve should be prolapsed like this. So are you able to see any prolapse? I can kind of imagine it. So basically they're saying here mitral valve prolapse, flail posterior mitral leaflet pointing towards left atrium. So they know that it is posterior. Interesting. What will you do, guys, if these people have mitral valve prolapse? What treatment do you think you will give? See, because it can break and cause emboli and all that, and it is prone to infective endocarditis, you should give some prophylaxis, isn't it? So you will prevent the infective endocarditis. You will give beta blockers for chest pain if they have tachyarrhythmias, etc. Antiarrhythmic agents they are talking about. Then, if there is mitral regurgitation, if there is regurgitation happening of the blood, then they are talking about valve reconstruction or replacement. Okay. Basically, the takeaway for you from this video is mitral valve prolapse, a late systolic murmur, click and a late systolic murmur. Basically, click and a late systolic murmur in mitral valve prolapse. When you stand, the click will be early and the murmur will be long. Okay, bye-bye.